For most YouTubers, there's a ceiling. They might boast millions of subscribers, sell out stadiums for meetups, or trigger viral trends, but they still exist within a predictable framework. And then there's iShowSpeed. His fame operates on an entirely different frequency, one capable of shutting down city blocks, overwhelming security teams, and setting off cultural shockwaves. Yet the most remarkable part of his journey? It all began with a donation of less than $2 and a casual message from a viewer named Bradley. Section 1. A spark called Bradley. In March of 2022, Darren Watkins Jr., universally known online as iShowSpeed, was already carving out a name for himself. At 17 years old, he commanded an audience of around 6 million subscribers and was adored for his frenzied, unpredictable live streams. One afternoon, a viewer named Bradley sent a tiny $1.79 donation, simply asking, "Which soccer team do you support?" It seemed like an inconsequential question, but that moment cracked open a new chapter for Speed. Up until then, his chaotic content focused mainly on gaming and humorous outbursts. When he answered Cristiano Ronaldo, however, he unknowingly stepped into the vast world of global football, a cultural juggernaut far larger than anything he had ever encountered. In a flash, Speed's reach exploded far beyond his traditional fan base, setting off a domino effect that would skyrocket him to unprecedented fame. And it was only the beginning. Section 2. Diving into the world's game. To many Americans, the word football conjures images of quarterbacks and touchdowns. But outside the US, football, or soccer, is the lifeblood of billions. As Speed dipped into this global phenomenon, his live streams evolved dramatically. Rather than sticking to random gaming sessions, he threw himself headfirst into FIFA gameplay, mangling players' names and celebrating goals with hilarious enthusiasm. Viewers across continents were captivated. Here was an American teenager, new to the sport's traditions, yet throwing himself into it with unfiltered passion. His spirited chants of "Seu," Ronaldo's iconic celebration, quickly became viral sensations, crossing languages and borders. Cristiano Ronaldo became not just a favorite player, but a beacon for Speed's wild, football-fueled journey into global culture. Section 3. A chase across the globe. Cristiano Ronaldo isn't merely a footballer, he is a global titan, one of the most recognizable faces on Earth. Naturally, Speed's new obsession became more than just admiration, it became a mission. He began flying across countries, attending Premier League matches in London, and even traveling to Qatar for the World Cup, all in hopes of finally meeting his idol. Fans became emotionally invested in his quest. Each near miss, each tantalizingly close encounter, was broadcast live, building tension and excitement. The internet buzzed with rumors, clips, and speculation. Even Ronaldo's teammates occasionally played along, teasing Speed on live streams. Along the way, Speed stumbled upon another revelation. The more he traveled, the larger the crowds grew. His popularity was no longer confined to YouTube. It had erupted into a full-scale, real-world phenomenon. Section 4. Touring the world, drawing massive crowds. Leaving behind his modest gaming setup in Ohio, Speed embarked on worldwide tours. From country to country, he live-streamed his adventures, sampling street food, visiting local landmarks, and immersing himself in football culture. Each arrival turned into an event. Thousands mobbed him at airports. Streets were shut down for crowd control. In Norway, he and his team were forced to shelter in a souvenir shop, overwhelmed by fans. While the energy was electric, it also presented serious risks. What once might have seemed like a dream scenario, fans swarming in adoration, became a logistical maze of security protocols, decoy vehicles, and emergency plans. Speed quickly learned that managing his fame wasn't just about entertaining, it was about ensuring safety for himself and his fans. Section 5. smashing streaming records. In the midst of this whirlwind, Speed's gaze turned toward Southeast Asia, regions less frequented by Western celebrities. Announcing tour dates there triggered a tidal wave of excitement. In Jakarta, Indonesia, over 1 million viewers tuned in simultaneously to watch him explore the city live, obliterating records for English-language streams. Speed was no longer just a kid shouting into a webcam. He had become a force of nature. He played impromptu street football games, met legendary athletes like Manny Pacquiao, and embraced every chaotic moment with open arms. Behind the screen, though, the stakes grew heavier. Juggling the demands of fame, travel, and fan expectations would challenge anyone, especially an 18-year-old thrust into such a massive spotlight. Section 6. Family dynamics and personal growth fame had utterly transformed Speed's world. Wins and stumbles alike were magnified under the relentless gaze of millions. His mother, at first skeptical of the whole enterprise, struggled to understand how live streaming could offer a real future. His father, by contrast, became an unwavering source of encouragement, reminding him to stay happy. Learning to navigate these family dynamics, while also bearing the emotional toll of internet stardom, wasn't easy. Over time, however, Speed strengthened bonds with both parents and developed a sturdier mental framework to survive the highs and lows. Amid the frenzy, he stayed grounded by recognizing that fame is fleeting and that staying true to himself would be the key to lasting success. Section 7. The Streamer of the Year. Triumph. By the close of 2024, iShowSpeed's meteoric rise had stunned the online world. With over 30 million subscribers, countless viral moments, and massive crowds greeting him across continents, his success was undeniable. The pinnacle of his journey came when he was awarded the prestigious Streamer of the Year title. Standing on that stage, Speed delivered an emotional, unfiltered acceptance speech, thanking his family, fans, and the team who helped him navigate his chaotic rise. It was a surreal, full-circle moment for longtime viewers who had watched him evolve from a wild teenager screaming at video games into a global phenomenon. His victory wasn't just personal. It symbolized the changing face of internet fame. Speed proved that passion, authenticity, and a little chaos could capture hearts worldwide. Holding that award in his hands, he stood as living proof that even the most unpredictable journeys can lead to greatness. Section 8. Gazing toward the future. Looking ahead, iShowSpeed sees endless possibilities. He's spoken about expanding his global tours, improving the quality of his streams, and exploring new creative ventures like music, business collaborations, and charity work. Yet through all these ambitions, one thing remains clear. He is determined to keep the energy and authenticity that made him famous. Speed no longer views himself as just a teenager from Ohio. He now sees himself as an innovator, eager to grow without losing the spark that fans love. Balancing massive fame with personal well-being has become a priority as he learns to manage the pressures that come with global attention. He aims to deepen his bond with fans while pushing his content into new territory. As his journey continues, Speed remains committed to evolving with the times, without ever sacrificing the raw, unfiltered joy that turned him into an international phenomenon. iShowSpeed's story isn't one of following the typical blueprint for internet fame. It's about breaking the mold entirely. What started with a $1.79 donation turned into a global phenomenon, proving that even the smallest spark can ignite something extraordinary. Speed's rise from chaotic gaming streams to international superstardom was fueled by his fearless authenticity, his passion for football, and his ability to connect with audiences across cultures and languages. He didn't just build a fan base, he built a community that spans continents, united by laughter, excitement, and shared moments of pure chaos. Speed's journey shows that fame today isn't confined to traditional paths. It's about creating genuine connections and daring to be different. As he looks to the future, The world watches with anticipation. His story is far from finished. With his limitless energy and willingness to evolve, iShowSpeed has the power to redefine what it means to be a global entertainer. Wherever his path leads, one thing remains certain. iShowSpeed has already changed the game, and for millions of fans worldwide, the adventure is just getting started.